But what I can tell you, that women are very powerful. We are the givers of life. And we can change the world if we unite in our power. But we first have to teach each other the things that we don't know. And anybody that has been to law school knows that black is a legal status. It's a political status, a social construct. So anybody that says that to you can't mean what they're saying. They don't. And I didn't know that until I knew it. And I studied long and hard. And I've learned some things. I've shared keys for the 2.5 years that I've been here. I'm now dealing with real life and hoping that I can say something to help somebody change the way they think and find their purpose in life. Because this is mine, and I enjoy doing it. So let's get with Ashleigh, because that's what this is all about. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the lawsuit. I'm just going to share the beginning. I was going to read most of it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to skip around it, and then I'm going to play a little bit of her testimony so that you can see what I'm saying about her being in action. But I'm going to read a little bit of this lawsuit, and so let me just get started. I'm not going to be here long. I just wanted to, thank everybody who supports me, my day ones, my people that have been here from the beginning and have never left me, and then the new people that are coming in. And I appreciate whatever you appreciate about me. No matter how long you're here, you're welcome in the Tiger's Den. In the Superior Court of Fulton County, State of Georgia, the Merchant Law Firm, P.C., Plaintiff versus Fulton County District Attorney's Office, Defendant. Plaintiff's complaint for violation of Georgia's Open Records Act and motion for defendant to show cause. That's the title of this motion. And all they're talking about here, they're talking about the introduction, they're giving you some history, the background, they're telling you what it means. Here are the parties, and here's some of the factual backgrounds. And I'm going to start here with what they've requested and have not received. And that's number 19. On September 1, 2023, plaintiff, by and through its shareholder, Ashleigh Merchant, requested certain public records by and through Fulton County's Public Records Center electronic portal pursuant to the Act, which was assigned to request number, and there is the request number. The September 1 request sought any and all bids, contracts, or agreements for the appointment and payment of the following contractors with Fulton County. And she lists these individuals: the Law Office of Nathan Wade, Christopher Campbell, P.C., the Cross Firm, LCC, Anna Cross, Bondurant, Mixon, and Elmore, LLP, and Terrence Bradley. I am seeking their invoices, contracts, county approval of these vendors, and any other documents regarding the contracting and payment of these vendors. A copy of the September 1 request, along with all of the follow-up correspondence associated with the request, is attached hereto collectively as Exhibit A. Plaintiff did not receive any documents within 3 business days, and there were no legal exceptions asserted under the Act by Fulton County or FCDA, which stands for Fulton County DA, District Attorney. So on September 7, 2023, Ms. Merchant followed up to inquire when the documents would be available. Ms. Merchant again followed up on September 11th, September the 13th, September the 14th, and September the 15th, 2023, and she included them as exhibits. Despite not providing numerous invoices and other documents in response to the September 1 request, or any reason for failing to do so, on September 17, 2023, Fulton County prematurely closed the request. As a result, on January 4, 2024, Ms. Merchant had to refile her request for agreements and contracts set forth in the September 1 request relating to Fulton County and Wade, and Fulton County assigned the refiled request to request number, and she gives the new number. A copy of the refiled September 1 request is attached hereto as Exhibit B. This request also sought any new documents created since September 1, 2023, that would be responsive to the request. Ms. Merchant did not receive any response, so she followed up on January 12, 2024, and January 16, 2024, requesting a timeline for receipt of the documents. See Exhibit B. It had now been more than 3 months since she had submitted the September 1 request. On January 22, 2024, Fulton County responded that your request has been forwarded to the appropriate department and the time extended to accommodate the appropriate department. See Exhibit B. On January 25, 2024, Fulton County wrote, "Please see letter attached. This request has been extended." And then it says, see Exhibit B. Fulton County closed this request on January 29, 2024, and referred Ms. Merchant to the September 1 request. And she has the footnotes there. And I guess I could leave it there for a second so you guys can see it if you want to stop it and take a look. On January 14, 2023, Ms. Merchant had to file yet another, and I'm going to take that's 2024 is what that should have been, yet another request associated with the September 1 request because the prior request had been prematurely closed. The new request was assigned request number, and there it is. That request is attached here too as Exhibit C. 4 days later, on January 18, 2024, Fulton County responded, "Please log into the portal and see responsive document." That response provided only one contract for John Floyd, and then it was closed again. Exhibit C. Finally, on January 29, 2024, Fulton County wrote in the records portal, with regard to the original September 1 request, please log into the portal to see the attached documents. See Exhibit A. Numerous documents were provided in this response, but numerous documents were still outstanding. To date, the following items remain outstanding under these requests, which have been pending for almost 5 months. Invoices for July 2023 through December 2023, despite Nathan Wade receiving payment for those months. Invoices for Terrence Bradley. Anna Cross current contract as the contract provided to Ms. Merchant ended on June 30th, 2023. Current invoices for Anna Cross. Her last invoice is from October 2023. And John Floyd's current contract. The contract provided for Mr. Floyd ended in October 2022. Upon information and belief, the documents sought in the September 1 request and all of the foregoing follow-up requests for the same documents were in the possession of FCDA and were intentionally withheld by FCDA because undersigned counsel filed a motion to disqualify Willis and Wade, and there has been considerable news coverage of the financial arrangements between Willis and Wade. As shown below, a letter from FCDA confirms that the stonewalling continues. On September 15th, 2023, Ms. Merchant requested a different set of records from those sought in the September 1st request, and Fulton County assigned this request number, and there is the request number. The September 15th request is attached hereto as Exhibit D. The September 15th request saw copies of the monthly CARES Act report for the District Attorney's Office showing how CARES Act money was spent each month. See Exhibit D. On September 19, 2023, FCDA responded. The Fulton County District Attorney is in receipt of your Opens Records request. However, after carefully reviewing your request, unfortunately, we do have the responsive records. See Exhibit D. Upon information and belief, FCDA and Willis are required by law to maintain records regarding the use of CARES Act monies received pursuant to the federal ARPA grant funding. As a result, Fulton County, FCDA, and Willis should have records showing how those funds were spent. Nevertheless, and in addition to response on September 19, 2023, on January 26, 2024, FCDA responded that it, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. A copy of the January 26, 2023 letter from Dexter Bond, a FCDA employee, is attached hereto as Exhibit E. On January 8, 2024, in request, and she give the request number, Ms. Merchant separately submitted the following requests through the Fulton County Open Records portal. I am seeking personnel records. I am requesting a list of all attorneys with their names and dates of hiring, hired by the district attorney since Ms. Willis became district attorney, including the date hired. The January 8 request is attached hereto as Exhibit F. 10 days later, on January 18, 2024, FCDA responded stating, please log into the portal to see responsive letter, no responsive records. On January 26, 2024, FCDA responded again stating that this office, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. See Exhibit E. This request was sent because Willis made a presentation to the Fulton County Board of Commissioners in 2021 asking for additional funding to hire lawyers and staff to assist in clearing the backlog of cases due to the COVID pandemic. If that was true in 2021, and Ms. Willis did indeed hire lawyers and staff with the funding granted to her, there should be records relating to new hires over the past 3 years. On January 8, 2024, in request, and there's the number, which is attached hereto as Exhibit G, Ms. Merchant requested a copy of any and all documents, agreements, contracts, memos, or any written documents that employees, staff, or independent contractors of the District Attorney's Office have been required to sign regarding speaking to the media and or confidentiality. See Exhibit G. On January 9, 2024, Fulton County acknowledged receipt of the second January 8 request, but then responded on January 18, 2024, 10 days after the request. Please allow 10 business days for a response. See Exhibit G. To date, Ms. Merchant has not received any further response in response to the second January 8 request through the portal. But on January 26, 2024, the District Attorney's Office responded that in its normal course of business does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. See Exhibit E. Upon information and belief, the FCDA issued a statement to the news media that NDAs did exist, but they were later retracted. On January 9th, 2024, in request number, and there is the number, which is attached hereto as Exhibit H, Ms. Merchant sought a copy of any and all correspondence to and or from vendor Critical Mention, Inc., including copies of all contracts and or payments and all analytics and or reports to and or from Critical Mention, Inc., and any member of the District Attorney's Office. See Exhibit H. On January 12, 2024, Ms. Merchant also made clear she was asking for the analytics that were provided by Critical Mention. The contract is for media monitoring, and analytical reports are provided in response to this contract, and we ask in our open records request for those as well. See Exhibit H. On January 18th, 10 days after the original request, FCDA provided some emails that made clear that FCDA used funds received from Fulton County to contract with Critical Mention to monitor the media presence of Willis. Those emails contained attachments which were the very reports Ms. Merchant requested, but the reports were not provided, and the request was closed before it was fulfilled. As a result, this forced Ms. Merchant on January 18, 2024 to refile the January 9th request under this number. The refiled January 9th request is attached hereto as Exhibit I. In the refiled January 9th request, Ms. Merchant specifically states that she sought the analytics and documents that are clearly referenced and attached to those emails. See Exhibit I. She also noted that it appears from the emails that Jeff DeSantis, Fani Willis, Jeremy Murray, Pallavi Prikayashta, I'm sure I got that wrong, Robin Bryant, and Rita Kepler may all have accessed these reports on a regular basis. These reports are of public media and paid for by public funds and subject to open records. See Exhibit I. On January 26, 2024, FCDA further responded to the January 9th request by stating, as it relates to the records you seek, this office, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. As it relates to your request to view electronic communications, your request, as written in your January 24th letter, is not reasonably calculated to locate the records you seek. And then they gave C O.C.G.A. 501872G. See Exhibit E. Since FCDA provided the emails that contain the attachments, the emails and attachments are obviously kept in the ordinary course of FCDA's business. So it is not clear why the attachments and other responsive materials have not been provided. Also, Ms. Merchant has never requested to view electronic communications. So this basis for withholding the documents and other media are without merit and appears specifically designed to prevent Ms. Merchant and the public from seeing the contents of the reports and other data provided by Critical Mention. Neither FCDA nor Fulton County provided any legal objection to producing the requested documents within 3 business days, so they waived any right to withhold the documents on the stated basis. On January 14, 2024, Ms. Merchant submitted open records request, and there is the number, which sought any and all contracts, agreements, vendor documents, and communications between any county entity and the vendor Testifies, Inc. A copy of the January 14th request is attached hereto as Exhibit J. Testifies, Inc. is a company that provides analytics similar to Critical Mention. In response, on January 17, 2024, Fulton County stated, "Your request is being reassigned to the District Attorney's Office for a response. Please allow 3 days." See Exhibit J. On January 25th, 2024, Fulton County stated, "Please log into the portal to review letter attached. This request has been extended." See Exhibit J. Neither Fulton County nor FCDA has ever provided any documents in response to the January 14 request, so this request remains outstanding even though it is now several weeks old. On January 16, 2024 at 9:21 a.m., Ms. Merchant submitted open records request, and there is the request number, which requested a copy of any and all vacation or time off requests for Fani Willis from January 1st, 2022 until the current day. The first January 16th request is attached hereto as Exhibit K. Ms. Merchant was told that it would take 10 business days. Therefore, responsive documents should be provided by January 26, 2024. However, on January 26, 2024, the District Attorney's Office responded that it, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. See Exhibit E. On January 16, 2024, at 1:26 p.m., Ms. Merchant requested an open records request, and there's the number. Second January 16th request. Reports and itemization that was required by law to be submitted to the county as the local governing authority, showing what was done with all property and funds obtained through forfeiture, including reports showing where funds were spent and who was paid. A copy of the second January 16 request is attached hereto as Exhibit L. On January 26, 2024, 10 days after the request was submitted, FCDA responded that responsive records are attached and noted that FCDA believed Ms. Merchant was seeking the office equitable sharing agreement and certificate. These records were filed in accordance with local, state, and federal law. See Exhibit E. Ms. Merchant, however, was not seeking the equitable sharing agreement and certificate, but was instead seeking records of the forfeiture fund accounting for the funds used to pay independent contractors Nathan Wade and Anna Cross. Mr. Wade was paid on July 15, 2022, August 12, 2022, and September 23, 2022 for a unit name confiscated funds under Unit Code 4802. The fund was seized property, law enforcement, under Fund Code 440. Ms. Cross was also paid out of the same fund on August 2nd, 2022 and September 28, 2022. FCDA has not provided any further documentation in connection with the first January 16th request. Now, a lot of people said, well, this woman should have known if she came after Donald Trump that this was going to happen. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. If you come after anybody, and if they're fighting for their freedom and their livelihood, they're going to use everything in their arsenal to get you off of them. In this young man's case, Mr. Roman was able to hire Mrs. Merchant and her husband, and they seem to be the dynamic duo because they're doing a thorough job. This is the way we have to learn to defend ourselves when we can't afford a Miss Merchant. Everybody has a right to request records if you're in question of something, and the company will let you know what they can and can't do. And then we have to seek further, because everybody is supposed to be transparent in government, because they get government funds. So they're supposed to be transparent. So it just takes due diligence and standing on your square. We have to learn, in all honesty, to circle our passion. We have to square our conduct. And then we have to just speak in an intelligent tone. And we can get things done. It's just how we do it and what we do. These laws, you know, it may not seem like laws are honored. They are. And the reason why it seems like they're not for us, because we don't know them. So we don't know how to counter when people come at us one way. That's one of the reasons I want to start talking about the criminal justice system and how plea bargains have literally taken away our Sixth Amendment right to a freedom of a trial by our peers. We need to start actually dealing in reality. It's nothing wrong. I'm so happy that you come to the internet, and certainly I'm happy that you come to YouTube and my channel. But if you're not getting something out of it, a laugh is beautiful. It's like medicine to the bone. But in reality, we're hurting as a people all over, everywhere. We got to get more than a laugh. Laugh is good. Medicine to the bone. But we got to get more out of it. I promise you we do. We got to learn how to stand for ourselves and our children. We got to do that. On January 17, 2024, at 12:39 p.m., Ms. Merchant requests in open records request, and there's the number, copies of travel reimbursements, requests for reimbursements, and communications regarding and proof of reimbursements for Fani Willis for the period 2020 through the present. A copy of the first January 17th request is attached hereto as Exhibit M. On January 26, 2024, the District Attorney's Office responded that it, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. See Exhibit E. So this woman did everything she could by the book to get them to work with her. And then they said that she's colluding with a divorce attorney that she knows nothing about, because she's doing her thing, trying to get this information. This has nothing to do with nothing else. She had no knowledge that lady was going to file her papers on the 8th, and Ms. Hastings had no knowledge she was going to file hers on the 8th because it was her deadline to file. But this lady have been trying to get this information. And you see, you hear. See, we don't have to wonder. We don't have to guess. She's swearing to this under oath. And I know that Fani and Wade and them swore too. But we can tell the difference. But let's keep going. On January 17, 2024, at 12:44 p.m. in open records request, and she's given the number, Ms. Merchant requested any and all correspondence and communication between purchasing and the District Attorney's Office for 2021 until present regarding outside counsel, including any payments, requests for payments, process for hiring, bids, and paying outside counsel. A copy of third January 17th request is attached hereto as Exhibit O. Ms. Merchant specifically referenced this to include the reference retaining of the district attorney by purchasing that was discussed during the BOC meeting in November 2023. See Exhibit 0. And that might be Exhibit O since we're doing alphabets. On January 26, 2024, the District Attorney's Office responded that it, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. See Exhibit E. Now, if these people don't maintain their own personnel records, how are they maintaining evidence? And I know that the DA's office don't maintain evidence, so I understand that. But how can they preserve anything that they get, that they make a decision to make an indictment? How we know they're not confusing people's cases when they coming up with these indictments? Because they don't have records of nothing that a normal agency that's not even a governmental entity would have in their records. In a business, you are required to have certain documents. And without them, then you don't have a right to be in business. And this is the government we're talking about. On January 24, 2024, in an effort to summarize all of the outstanding pending requests and missing documents and materials, Ms. Merchant sent a letter to both Fulton County and FCDA asking that all pending requests be resolved and documents produced by the close of business on January 26, 2024. A copy of the January 24 letter is attached hereto as Exhibit 0. Apparently, in response, FCDA sent its January 26 letter, but failed nonetheless to provide most of the requested documents. At no time prior to 3 days following receipt of any of the above requests did Fulton County or FCDA raise any legal objection, cite any exception for failing to provide the requested documents, or otherwise provide justification for failing to provide responsive documents in their possession. Therefore, any reliance on any objection or exception to the act has been waived. Count 1, and she gives the violations. And she tells what the act requires. And she gives the act itself. So you see the laws. I'm not really going to read all of this because I really want to read the letter, the real nice, nasty letter that they sent back to her. So I'm just going to leave this and you guys can, take it from there. And she said in the court note that the defendant has failed to properly and timely respond to plaintiff's requests under the act. Wherefore, plaintiff requests and prays that the court award the following relief to plaintiff. Number 1, that process issued directing the defendant answer this complaint on an expedited basis within 10 days of service of the summons and complaint. Number 2, that the court enter judgment in favor of plaintiff and against defendant and order that defendant provide the requested records under the act or show cause why defendant's failure to provide the records does not violate the act. Number 3, that the court award plaintiff pursuant to O.C.G.A. 50-1873 plaintiff's costs and expenses incurred in this action, and as well as the costs, expenses, and fees incurred in obtaining defendant's compliance with the act and any other applicable provision of law. And number 4, that the plaintiff has such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper. And then there is plaintiff's motion for a defendant to show cause for non-compliance with Georgia's Open Records Act. So there are all the exhibits. These are all the requests that she's requested. She actually did all of this work. She sent them email. These are emails that she sent them, asking them about the information, asking them. And this one is kind of interesting. I'm going to read this one. She said, there were 2 attachments that contained contracts for Nathan Wade. The first is Nathan Wade, and it is 7 pages and does not contain the 2021 original contract. The second is Nathan Wade, number 2, and it is 4 pages and does not contain the 2021 original contract. The original first contract is not included in these attachments. Thank you. And so then they sent this, and she said, thank you for sending those invoices. We still do not have the contract for Nathan Wade. That was the first contract that was entered into on November 1st, 2021. We have the recontract and the addendum to the November 1, 2021 contract, but not the contract. We also do not have the invoices for Terrence Bradley or Christopher Campbell. Finally, we do not have any county approval of these vendors or any documentation regarding the bids or county approval of these vendors and projects. If none of number 4 above exists, please let us know that as well. Thank you so much, Ashleigh Merchant. And then this says, pages 5 and 7 have those dates listed as the dates of the prior contract. Pages 5 through 7 are for the recontract and state that on page 5, they reference the prior contract and say that this is a contract. I do not have that original contract. It is just referenced on page 5 through 7, and the dates are provided, but the contract is not included in the materials you sent. So this is about Nathan Wade. One of the reasons they were having problems with that is because he was not approved by the county commissioners, as you'll see in the hearing. And she was taking money out of those other funds, paying him and Anna Cross. And then here it comes. She said, and this is on 9/11/2023, I received the contracts, thank you. The contract for Nathan Wade referenced an original contract that is not included. It would be the contract that began November the 1st, 2021 and ended October 31st, 2021. May I also have a copy of that contract? As far as the invoices, the contracts reference travel and lodging expenses. I just wanted to make sure those reimbursements would be included. Thank you so much. Good morning. This is November the 11th as well. September the 11th. I'm sorry. Good morning. Please let me know if these requests will be ready today. I requested them on Friday, September the 1st, 2023, which would have been put them due in 3 business days on September the 7th, 2023. It is now September the 11th, 2023, and I have not received them. I need to know when I can expect them so I can determine if other steps need to be taken to ensure they are provided in a timely manner. Thank you. And it says, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office is working on your request. As soon as we have the responsive records, we will notify you. Please allow a response to be given no later than next week. If anything changes before then, you will be notified. And on the 7th, Ashleigh said, good afternoon. I am just following up again since it has been over 3 days and we do not have any documents yet. It is my understanding that the items I requested have potentially already produced to other requesters. Since it has been well over 3 days since our request, we are hoping to get copies of these items as soon as possible to verify what they contain. Thank you in advance. And here, Ashleigh said, I received the message letter from the Fulton County DA's office, Erica Willingham, in response to my request. My request was submitted on 9/1/2023 at 11:07 a.m. At this point, it has been more than 3 business days, and I am hoping to get copies of the request items ASAP. Please let me know when they will be sent or how I can get them ASAP. And she received an email, and that's 9/1. That's her email 9/1. You know, I guess this is how emails work. This is when she requested all the information. So those are her exhibits. Okay, so let's keep going, because I know on here's just one of the letters they sent here. Let me just read this. This was January 22nd, 2024. Dear Miss Ashleigh Merchant, this correspondence is in response to your Open Records Act request for that number 424, dated January 4, 2024. Your request sought the following. I am seeking copies of any and all bids, contracts, or agreements for the appointment and payment of the following contractor with Fulton County: the law offices of Nathan Wade and/or Nathan Wade. I am seeking his invoices, contracts, county approval of these vendors, and any other documents regarding the contracting and payment of these vendors. I submitted an open records request 4 months ago for this same data, and so I am seeking updated records for all invoices and payments and contracts and agreements since my last request. Thank you. And it says, we sincerely apologize for the delayed response. Your request has been forwarded to the appropriate department and the time extended to accommodate the appropriate department. Sincerely, Open Records Team. And Ashleigh said again, I'm just following up. So she's steady trying to get these records. So let's keep going. These are all the exhibits that I read about. Now here is coming up this nice, nasty letter that she received. Now this says, on January 14th, Dear Miss Ashleigh Merchant, thank you for submitting an open records request to Fulton County, Georgia. The county received your Open Records Act request dated January 14, 2024, and has assigned the reference number. Last number is 424 for tracking purposes. Records requested. I am requesting in regards to a prior request, last 3 numbers 123. It appears after further research that you did not provide all the documents that were responsive to my request. I requested copies of all contracts with John Floyd, and I was only provided one that expired in 2022. Based on statements made in the press that there may be additional contracts that there are more recent, I would like for you to please rerun my open records and make sure that you actually did provide me with all the contracts agreements that existed. Thank you. We will send out the request to the appropriate departments. If you should have any questions or concerns about the requested documents, please feel free to contact the Fulton County Open Records Team. If there should be a cost associated with the open records request, we will contact you in a timely manner. Fulton County has a new Open Records Center that allows you to submit and track Open Records Act requests. Please visit the link below to monitor the request progress and submit future requests. And apparently none of that helped or happened. Now here is the letter, the nice, nasty letter that she received. Dated January 26, Office of the Fulton County District Attorney, Atlanta Judicial Circuit. Greetings. The Office of the Fulton County District Attorney has received your letter dated August 24th, 2024. And we know that that's a typo because August 24th, 2024 has not happened yet. Despite consistent communication, you imply that this office has failed to meet its obligation under the Georgia's Open Records Act. Respectfully, we disagree with your disingenuous implication. Now, I just don't know that that would be a letter if I was the head of any organization that I would allow to go out to a public individual. Because one thing you learn in business when you're writing, tone means everything. And so I can't even read this in a friendly tone because the terminology is so nasty. And that's that nice nasty is what I'm talking about. Okay? As you are aware, the Georgia's Open Records Act requires a public entity to make county records available for inspection. And then she gives the code O.C.G.A. 501871A. And so maybe they all have bad attitudes because the DA has such a nasty disposition, because she had to approve this letter going out, I would assume, since it's going out in her name. I don't expect for her to be the one who wrote it, which in her case she could have because she didn't have to testify, but she ran to the courtroom, she claimed, when she heard people saying he was through. As we know, she was looking at that testimony and didn't like what she saw. That's what really happened in my opinion. That's just my opinion. When records are not available within 3 business days, as is the case with many of the records you seek, the public entity must provide a description of the record sought and communicate a timeline for production. See, and they gave her the law, 51871B1A. The Georgia Open Records Act does not require that a public entity produces records by a certain date or time, only in a time that is practical based on the public entity's staffing levels and workloads. Nor does the Georgia Open Records Act require a public entity to answer questions presented with their request. See O.C.G.A. 501872J. With these legal principles in mind, the Office of the Fulton County District Attorney has complied with the Georgia's Open Records Act with all 14 of your requests, considering 12 were received recently. So that's very ugly. And that's poor business grammar. I mean, and then we wonder why people treat us like they treat us. I mean, for real, this is no way, if you run a business, that you would treat a customer, a client, whatever you call the person that patronized you. You don't do that. Some people don't like my responses, but it's a response to a comment. I don't talk to people any kind of way unless people talk to me any kind of way. And I ask them to share me the same grace that I'm going to share them. Because I'm going to say what I got to say, but even then I know how to say it. You may not like it, but that's life. And you can't change it to save your life. But in business, that's not how you operate. And that's how you make your living. You want to continue to receive a paycheck. So you want to treat people how you want to be treated. And this is not just about her sending this to Ashleigh or whoever wrote this letter. But we know the predominance are Asiatic women and men. And we also know that Ashleigh Merchant is European. We know those things. We know that. So she goes on to say, below, please find a response to each of your requests cited in your January 24th letter. Number 1, request number 123-424-424. Responsive records are being compiled based on staffing levels and workloads. It is practical that these records will be uploaded to the county portal on or before Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. Now, she started asking for some of this stuff back in September 2023. Request number 1523. The Office of the Fulton County District Attorney has no record of receiving this request. Notwithstanding, this office, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. She's heard that before. Number 3, request 824. This office, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. Number 4, request 924-824. As it relates to the records you seek, this office, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. As it relates to your request to view electronic communications, your request, as written in your January 24th letter, is not reasonably calculated to locate the records you seek. And then she gives the law. O.C.G.A. 501872G. But nowhere in the request did Miss Merchant request to hear anything or view anything electronically. They responded to her earlier, but she never requested that. Number 5, 924. The Office of the Fulton County District Attorney, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive record. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. Number 6, request 624. Responsive records are attached. And then they have a footnote down there. We believe you are seeking the office equitable sharing agreement and certificate. These records were filed in accordance with local, state, and federal law. She never asked for that either, and she said as such earlier. Number 7, 523. The Office of the Fulton County District Attorney, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. 724. The Office of the Fulton County District Attorney, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. Now, anybody, just answer me in the comments if you feel like it, if you get this far, if you hear this. Who could maintain a job? And this is what you would be sending back to people when they're requesting records that your office is responsible for having. I mean, really, come on now. See, everybody want to make everything a surface thing, but it's always skin deep. It's deeper than the skin. You got to go beyond the surface and get to the problem. You got to go to the root of the problem. 624. The Office of the Fulton County District Attorney, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. 724. The Office of the Fulton County District Attorney, in its normal course of business, does not maintain responsive records. As such, we cannot produce the records you seek. And then, as is the case with all open records requests received, and it should have been received. See, I don't like when people are talking noise to me and then they make mistakes. And I hate when I do it because I make those same type of mistakes. That's probably why I hate it so much. Because you know the things we ultimately don't like about some people is the things that we see in ourselves. Except for me, I guess my problem is where people can lie and do all of that, I'm too honest and do all of that. If you understand what I'm saying. I'm honest to my detriment, where I get the same pain as the people who lie and get caught. But you won't catch me because I'm going to share it. I've learned to live transparent. I learned that after I discovered that I had been molested and I worked through my problems. So when you get help, you still have life issues. You still have thoughts. You may even still have some sad moments. But you can get through anything if you put in the work. But I promise you, you're going to have to put in the work. Nobody's going to do it for you. See, I came here with a purpose and a mission, and that was to help uplift fallen humanity, to share my life, to share me. Another thing that what I know is true, that it won't work if you don't work it. It won't. Ain't nobody going to do it for you because nobody can make the decisions that only you can make. And nobody is going to perform whatever needs to be done but you. And so you got to believe in you and you got to love you. And a lot of times we don't even know what's ailing us. I had no earthly idea that I was an enabler and codependent. I just never had a drug habit, never had alcohol problem. I didn't do drugs, but I did drug addicts. I thought I could save the world. I could not. And this was the perfect platform for me to just come on and share. Some people say, don't you want to tell that? You don't have to say that. No, you don't have to. You can't shame me with me. It's a lot of us hurting. It's a lot of people, both men and women, when they were little boys and girls, have been molested, have been abused, have been betrayed. I have t-shirts that I sell, and I have that line when you see the children, when I sing The Greatest Love, that's healing the wound inside. See, that's the little boy and the little girl. And we have to constantly nurture them because some of them didn't get the nurture and the love that they deserved when they were little. And that's the behavior of Fani Willis. She talks a lot about her father. And I talk about my daddy all the time. But you best believe my mama. You know how they say it's anchored? Yeah, she was our anchor and our rock. My mama. But my daddy taught us all the things we needed to know. And we made our own decisions, good, bad, and indifferent. Some of the positions we found ourselves in, we didn't have to be, because our daddy taught us about how a man thinks. How he showed us what a man will do for you. Or what he should. Not physically, because my daddy did not touch me physically. My mother was the disciplinarian. Not my daddy. His voice was just like the Lion King. It roared when he spoke. And that's why I think I mimic him a lot when I speak. I'm just saying. But back to what I'm saying. After she gave her that law, nor does this office produce documents or records that are exempt from production under Georgia or federal law. Who asked them to do that? Specifically, this office does not produce records protected under, and she gave the laws in which they're protected under, and expressly reserves all statutory exemptions from disclosure provided by 50-1872 E.T. S.C.Q. and other applicable laws. Who expected for her to do that? As it relates to these specific matters discussed in this letter, each response and corresponding responsive records, if applicable, will also be sent via the county portal. Once sent through the portal, these matters will be closed. And she told her sincerely, open records. That's about the rudest stuff I ever heard in my life. And they didn't even sign it. And this is just documents they sent. And this is that paper where she should have told, I believe, let's see if this is, no, this is one of their, some funds. They're showing some funds, equitable share funds that she wasn't asking for. But that's what they believed she was asking for. That didn't have nothing to do with what she was asking them for. She asked them about the C-19. The CARES Act money is what she asked them about. She ain't asked them nothing about no equitable nothing. But you know, people, and especially in law, that's why you need a law dictionary. And you also need an etymology dictionary so you can know the origin of words. Because they have a language that they speak and it's called legalese. And it could be the same language in which you speak, but it will have a different meaning in law. And that's the stuff that, you know, we don't know anything about. Because we were taught so little about civics. Taught no politics. History, we don't know where that comes from. And they don't want us to know or teach the real. So, you know, it's just a ball of confusion, and we have to do it ourselves. We cannot depend on other people. That's one thing Fani said. I will agree with her. We cannot depend on other people. None of us can. Because just like we don't know, a lot of the Europeans don't know either. There are some that know, but a lot of them don't know either. They just know a little bit more than what we know to give them a little better opportunity than what we've had. But you got to make it your own way. That's all you can do, is make it your own way. And this is the letter that she sent to them. And I don't know if I'm going to read that. These are the things she was letting them know that she requested. And I guess I may need to read it because somebody would say, well, you read the black people letter and the way you sounded. Let's see how she sounds. So let's see how she sounds. Dear Miss Miller and Miss McCrae Willingham, please allow this to serve. Did you hear her start out with the word please? Please allow this to serve as my additional and final follow-up to several outstanding requests pursuant to Georgia's Open Records Act. O.C.G.A. Section 50-1870 through 50-1876. Boy, I like this lady. Please also consider this my notice that if the following requests are not fulfilled prior to the close of business on January 26, 2024, we intend to pursue immediate action with Georgia's Attorney General and or file a civil action in Fulton County Superior Court to obtain your compliance with the Act. Should we be required to do so, we will seek attorney's fees and costs in having to do so and seek other relief allowed under Georgia law. We certainly hope such action is not necessary and look forward to your anticipated cooperation. You see how you write a letter? For the sake of convenience and to expedite your response to the pending requests for documents, I have set forth below the topics for which I sought records from Fulton County and Fulton County District Attorney. The specific ORA request numbers assigned by your office may follow up efforts to obtain the materials and an identification of materials that have been provided to us, and more importantly, those that have not yet been provided to us. Number 1, and this is the 424, request for contracts and invoices for outside legal counsel, original, ORA. On September 1st, 2023, request 123, I requested any and all bids, contracts, or agreements for the appointment and payment of the following contractors with Fulton County: for Nathan Wade, Christopher Campbell, Anna Cross, the Cross Firm, Bondurant, Mixon, and Elmore; for John Floyd and Terrence Bradley. I was only provided partial documents in response to my request. Based on this, I had to follow up on this request several times. I spoke with Erica Willingham from the FCDA, who supplied the documents and claimed she provided all that were available. On September 13, 2013, I again followed up and explained that we had not received all the invoices that we requested. I continued to follow up, but to no avail. To date, you have not provided us with a single invoice from either Campbell or Bradley, despite the Fulton County open checkbook showing they were paid several times under these contracts. We also have not received a single invoice for Wade since his April 2023 invoice. It has been almost 5 months since my original request, and it remains unfulfilled. We have not received one single invoice for Bradley or Campbell. Those are the guys that's supposed to have the 4 contracts. Remember, they had 2 each. One had a tank contract and a first appearance contract, and with 2 of them make 4, and then Wade makes 5, and he share all of their monies, and they're supposed to share a third of his money, which makes what? Boy, this is really ugly. And all of this happened, they want to say because of Wade's wife. No, this happened because of Wade and Fani and whoever got her to do what she's doing. This man, Michael Roman, he was not even by the grand jury. They had 2 grand juries, a grand jury and a special grand jury, and they didn't recommend him for indictment. Fani decided to indict him. And you know, people know how to fight back. All of us are not just going to take it. And we don't know what we're doing. He hired an attorney. I operate in myself. Although I'm not propria persona, but I do pro se. So to a degree, I'm under their jurisdiction, but I have a little leeway. As long as I come within the confines of the law, that's all that matters. Because the law and case law is what they respect. We have only received 1 contract for Anna Cross dated July 15th, 2022. We asked for all contracts and invoices. We have not received her current contract, and we have only received 2 invoices, one for July 2022 and one for August 2022. And remember, she was paid $15 an hour. Now I done messed around and hit the button, and I don't know where I was, so let me go try to find this letter. You know, when I make mistakes like this, I think about my son. He always tell me, old folks ought to stay off of this technology because we don't know what we're doing. And I know that, you know, he's being humorous, but he's really being serious. And I can't do nothing but laugh because he really ain't lying, especially when it comes to his mother. Because a lot of times I'll be doing stuff, I find stuff, I don't know how I find it, so I don't know how to go back to it. It's just things happen for me that I can't even explain. And I hate technology, and I'm trying to tell myself I love it, I like it, I got to learn it, and I have learned a lot. So I try to do things that's, help my little videos a little bit, and I'm doing great. I feel real good about it. And I found my letter and where I was. Okay. So it says, we have only received contracts for John Floyd for dates 2/23/21 and 4/1/22. We do not have a current contract for any work done after October 31st, 2022, including his current contract. We have invoices for work done in April 22, May 22, June 22, July 22, November 22, December 22, May 23, January 23. Nothing for any work in 2023 other than January, and nothing after January 2023. But the indictments came down in the summer of 2023. So how is it that the RICO expert ain't even been in nothing on the case? Makes no sense. Despite my open records request not being completed, it was closed by Fulton County as completed. Therefore, I had to file an additional request in order to reopen the original open records request that had been improperly closed as completed. And this request was assigned a new request number. But I did reference my prior request that was not only truly completed despite being closed as completed. My first such additional follow-up request was on January 4, 2023, and that number was 424, in which I requested updated records including invoices, payments, contracts, and agreements for vendor Nathan Wade. This request still shows that it is in progress, but we have not received any response. I also refiled this request in 424 and cited to my previous request 123 and explained we clearly had not received everything in response. We were provided one additional contract for John Floyd, April 2022, but nothing else. Your office closed that request as completed, but it still is not completed as a significant portion of the requested documents have not been provided. Items outstanding under these requests. Number 1, we have not received invoices for May 2023 through December 2023, despite Wade receiving payment for those months. Number 2, we have not received one single invoice for Bradley or Campbell. Number 3, we have only received 2 contracts for Campbell from 2024-21 and 1/24-22. We have not received his current or additional contracts. Number 4, we have not received Anna Cross's current contract, and we have only received 2 invoices, one for July 2022 and one for August 2022. We have not received John Floyd's current contract and have no invoices for any work done after January 2023. Number 2, Fulton County Outside Counsel Protocol Request, 1523. I filed the open records over 4 months ago for any procedures, rules, law, or other county policy that governs a county agency requesting money for outside legal assistance, such as a contract lawyer. I am trying to obtain the policy and procedure for the approval of the funds to pay a non-county employee lawyer and the process for review and oversight of the payment of these services. In response, the county sent me a copy of the 2015 Fulton County Outside Counsel Protocol. It is my understanding now that the district attorney's office might be claiming that this protocol does not apply to the district attorney's office. Therefore, I am following up on this request to make sure that I am provided the documents I requested if the county is now claiming that it is a different protocol or that this protocol somehow does not apply to the district attorney. I am requesting documentation that this protocol does not apply to the district attorney, and the copies of whatever protocol is being claimed applies to the district attorney if her office is not subject to the same rules that all other county agencies are subject to. Number 3, all attorneys hired by Ms. Willis, 824. On January 8, 2024, I requested a list of all attorneys hired since Ms. Willis took office, along with the date they were hired. The district attorney's office responded on January 18, 2024, that there are no records that are responsive to this open records request. Does this mean that Ms. Willis has not hired a single attorney in her time in office, or that Fulton County is claiming they do not have a list of the attorneys Ms. Willis has hired and when they began? Number 4, critical mention media monitoring data. Some say data. 924 and 824. On January 9th, 2024, I requested any and all correspondence, including all analytics and or reports to and or from Critical Mention, Inc., and any member of the district attorney's office. I received some emails in response which clearly had attachments of analytics and reports between Critical Mention and the district attorney's office. The emails made clear that the district attorney's office used county funds to contract with Critical Mention to monitor the media presence of Fani Willis. This company was hired to track and monitor all of the media coverage of Fani Willis and build reports to share and analyze coverage. The entire service that this contract provided for was these reports, and they were not provided in response to our open records. These reports are what the taxpayers pay for and are not subject to any privilege or restrictions. There are a number of emails between district attorney employees Jeff DeSantis, Robin Bryant, and Robin Bryant, if you recall, is Robin Yearty. The DA said, I knew her as Robin Bryant. But that's Miss Yearty, the one that they fired. And she said she was put in another department and she didn't like what was going on. And she was either forced to resign or she was going to be terminated. So she decided to resign. Rita Kepler, Pallavi Perkayasta, and Fani Willis, and I know I messed that person's name up, please forgive me, where they are discussing media involving Fani Willis or the district attorney's office. It also references a proposal that was sent to the district attorney when they first discussed hiring this media monitoring company, and appears to be attached to the email. And finally, it appears that there were reports on a regular basis that monitored Miss Willis and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, and then created shareable reports that had analytics. None of these were provided in response to our open records request. Because the county closed my initial request, 924, when they released only part of these records, I refiled this request under 824 on January 18, 2024, and specifically referenced the original request. I have still not received these documents. Number 5, confidentiality non-disclosure agreements, 924. On January 8th, 2024, I requested copies of any documents, agreements, contracts, memos, or writings that employees, staff, or independent contractors of the district attorney were required to sign regarding speaking to the media and or confidentiality. The District Attorney's Office acknowledged that an updated confidentiality was required recently, but then was rescinded. We are requesting the original one and the updated one, whether it was rescinded or not. This request shows it is still in progress. Number 6, CARES Act, COVID Relief Reports, 1523. On September 15, 2023, I asked for copies of the monthly CARES Act reports for the District Attorney's Office showing how CARES Act money was spent each month. I received the response that no records exist. It is my understanding that Fulton County received CARES Act funding and the District Attorney received a large portion of this money. I also understand that there are reporting requirements to show how this money was used. I am trying to ascertain if there truly are no records in existence, as I was told in response to my open records request. Maybe that's where some of that cash came from. Number 7, forfeiture disclosure reports, 624. On January 16, 2024, I requested reports and itemization that was required by law to be submitted to the county as the local governing authority, showing what was done with all property and funds obtained through forfeiture, including reports showing where funds were spent and who was paid. This request shows it is in progress. Number 8, communication between Purchasing and District Attorney's Office, 724. On January 17, 2024, I requested any and all correspondence and communication between Purchasing and the District Attorney's Office for 2021 until present regarding 1. Outside counsel, including any payments, requests for payments, process for hiring, bids, and paying outside counsel. I specifically reference this to include the retraining of the district attorney by Purchasing that was discussed during the BOC meeting in November 2023. I also asked for 2 promotional material, any payment requests for payments, process for hiring, bids, and paying vendors for promotional material, including promotional brochures, flyers, or mailers. Number 3, rebranding any payment requests for payment, process for hiring, bids, and paying vendors for rebranding material. Number 4, critical mention. Any payments, requests for payment, bids, process for hiring, bids, and paying critical mention. Number 5, TVI. Any payment, requests for payment, process for hiring, bids, and paying TVI. This request shows in progress still, but without any response or responsive documents. Number 9, vacation time off request, 624. On January 16, 2024, I requested a copy of any and all vacation or time off requests for county employee Fani Willis from January 1st, 2022 until current. I was told that it would take 10 business days. Therefore, responsive documents should be provided by January 26, 2024. Number 10, reimbursement for Fani Willis, 724. On January 17, 2024, I requested copies of travel reimbursements, requests for reimbursements, and communications regarding and proof of reimbursements for D.A. Willis for 2020 through current. This request shows that it is in progress. It is very much my hope that this can be easily remedied and that we can obtain copies of these public documents as soon as possible. Several of the requests have been outstanding for months. We look forward to your response and attention to this matter. Yours truly, Ashleigh Merchant, professional all the way through. So, you know, people can talk their talk and they can say they just attacking the black woman and the black man. That's a black lie. And we need to stop it. We need to shut it down and don't allow them to get away with that. I've been here really a little longer than I anticipated. But as I promised, you're going to either look at the video or you're not. But one day somebody may not have nothing to do. They may be bored as all New York. And they may decide, you know what? Let me check out this video. But I want y'all to hear. Now, I just read y'all the lawsuit and the way they responded to her. But I want y'all to hear some of her testimony because it's going to be about these things. And then as we listen to her a little bit, I'm going to play this man who I could have just beat him like a little child. And I don't mean abuse him. I mean whoop him as it's written in the Bible, the Son book, you know, spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, I want to put the rod on him because it just does not make sense how that man was trying to play the advocate. It made no sense. And he's stuck on one case. And one thing I learned when you're fighting, y'all, and you quote a case, make sure you read that case. And she knew that case inside and out. But the way he was interpreting it was different than the way she interpreted it. But it's all about how the judge interpreted it. And when you go to these like case texts, and if you're fortunate enough to go to a law library that has Westlaw or whatever, they let you know the treatment of the case, if it's recommended, if it's one that's used a lot, and it'll give you the citations that people use out of the case a lot. So it's a lot go into the research of a case. But he got stuck on one area, and he got upset because she said that Nathan Wade wasn't qualified. Well, I'm here to tell you this evening, a traffic court judge is not qualified for a RICO charge when they said the complexity of RICO is so complex because that law was used to put away mobsters, not politicians, not rappers. Of course, they say gang members because they say gang is a criminal organization. But they got YouTube gangs and nobody cares nothing about them. They just bully you and harass you and stalk you, and it's just funny. And people give money to laugh at your pain. It's not funny. It's not. But it is what it is. So let y'all hear a little of Ashleigh, because this got to happen. We've got to listen to her. Professor Nez, he loves Steve Sadow, and I like him too. I really like them all because they're good at what they do, to be honest, in all respects. Let me see. I guess this might be it. It's not showing anything. Let me see if this is it. No, that's me. That's me. Let me.
This document is the county attorney. I do not believe she's...
I don't see it coming up. Oh, here it is here. Yeah, that's it. I need y'all to hear this, whoever stayed long enough to listen. this comes the good part. It's sad, but it's the truth. This is how she learned about what happened. And so I'm going to go off. And I want to just shout out Roland, because I didn't know that this was his video. I just used that picture because I, go and look at pictures and take pictures. So I want to shout him out and say thank you very much. Here we go.
Knowledge that they had or I don't know.
I'm going to stop it right there and just read a couple of these people and their comments. This person here is funny. Lori Parks, I believe. It says, Fani Willis, they don't have nothing on you. They trying to bring down a black female who possess power and law. Trump is the one is on trial, not you. Trump is on trial for what he's on trial for. But she's in a hearing to see if she should be disqualified. This woman is not just talking out the side of her neck. She did some extensive investigative work. But, of course, if they don't know that, but she's showing what she's found, but when you choose to go down with the ship, that's why we stay in the very condition that we're in. And then the next person says, she is a lies. And the next person says, Fani Willie. And they have the justice sign and the Statue of Liberty and love and strong arm. And another person said, scatterbrain lady. Someone else says, sounds like a lot of hearsay. Lies, lies. Sounds like hearsay to me. Broke, beautiful black family. And it's just sad to see the things and how people pick and choose and don't choose to investigate for themselves. But let's go on for a little bit more and then we will stop it.
So I got some of the emails about this media monitoring. So what
I'm looking at some of these responses over here in the chat, and our people are really sad and sick, and they really believe that this woman's done nothing wrong, and this is all just about Trump. It may have started about Trump, but her legal team was fighting to keep her from having to take the stand. She ran and bolted into the courtroom and said she wanted to take the stand. She was ready for this. I don't think that we listen. We get so caught up in our emotions, and we're going to have to stop that. As adults, rearing children, we need to show them better behavior. We really got to do that. I want to play just a little bit more, and then I'm going to end it because this has gone a little longer than I expected.
I'm a judge in August of 2019, and I did an open records. I first asked, I first did an open records and they said no. So then I subpoenaed the records for the judicial conference, the municipal court conference.
So she was a municipal court judge.
They were both municipal court judges. So I got the
Who's both? You mean Wade was the judge at the time?
Wade was a judge. He was actually a speaker on the panel. It was October 2019. So I found online an old agenda where he was speaking, and Terrence Bradley had told me that they met at a conference where Wade was speaking and Willis had gone. So I knew that. So I found, and it was in person. So I could narrow it down because of COVID. I figured out when COVID happened and when,
Okay, I'm going to put this link in the description so you guys can check it out for yourself. It's all over YouTube. It's really an interesting hearing, and you should really listen. And then you should read these people over to the right. It's so sad how our people have been deceived. But what can we do about it? Not a thing. Just learn for yourself and teach your babies. And I'm going to get ready to bring this to a close. I believe that we have gone the last mile of the way. I think that I will be probably doing some more videos with more documents of proof in court that they're testifying to. So we will be doing this story, but I'm also going to be starting back doing my criminal justice, because I want to talk about Sixth Amendment rights. And a lot of people say that innocent people don't plead guilty, but a lot of times they do, because they're afraid of all of the time that they offer them. So I have some things coming up that I think are interesting, and I hope you guys do too, especially some of my newcomers. I know that my day ones are going to be here no matter what, and we enjoy each other, but I hope that I can say something to help somebody, because we have so many people incarcerated. So I know that your family might be affected by the criminal, what I call injustice system. I talk about what's happening to us as Asiatic women and how they treat us and have treated us in the history of colonization. I talk about us as a people, all people, because we're one people, we're human, and we all have different cultures and different customs, and they all derive from us. The oldest bones ever found were they belonged to a woman that looked like me and a lot of you. But we're all one people, and we should know that, and we should celebrate each other and try to come together as opposed to be separated. So if you like this video, please share it with someone, talk about it, let people know Toothless Tiger is here, and they can check me out. I don't know if anybody have gotten this far, but hopefully you will, somebody, and you will enjoy this video. If you want to support the channel, my Cash App and my PayPal is in the description. I also sell t-shirts. Most of the t-shirts that you see me in, I sell those t-shirts. And my famous t-shirt, I don't advertise anymore because it has the word F, the F word in it. And it's about my teeth. And it just says F them teeth. But YouTube has changed. You can't, curse the entire video. And so that word showing on the screen would be that. So you have to, they give you at least, as long as it's not 50% of your video. I try now, since they're going more commercial, not to use my second language, because cussing is my second language. But I try not to use it as much as I can. On that note, I want to say thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please like, comment, share. And I don't mind you disagreeing. I just don't like personal attacks, and I don't like people attacking other people in the audience. I'm going to close out with, of course, one of my favorite songs, and that is The Greatest Love of All, because I truly believe the children are the future, and we need to teach them. There are things that we were not taught that we need to teach them. So, I'm leaving the tiger's den. Goodbye. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us who we used to be. Everybody searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of takes you to a lonely place, find yourself in love.